Thanks for reminding me.
Can you tell us if that time in the Warriors helped you to build what you have built here, and if you talk with Steve Kerr about these similarities?
I have not spoken to Steve, about those similarities. Obviously, when I was there, worked for Mark Jackson, worked for obviously Bob Myers, was with Larry Riley at that time. But I think that's one of the real cool things about how we've gotten here. And everybody, every individual, more importantly, every team collectively has to pick a path and stay true to it. And I feel really fortunate that our journey has been one of patience, one of drafting really well, and developing those players, and then adding the right pieces around them. To your point, you add an Aaron Gordon, a KCP, a Bruce Brown, whatever it may be. So, but everybody wants to do it differently. Some teams want to mortgage their future and try to go get the surefire player, the all-star. And for us, there's never been a rushed mentality, and that starts with their ownership. The Kroenke family has been phenomenal since day one, allowing this thing to kind of play itself out and not overreacting to little bumps in the road. And I think there are other teams in this league that are looking at how we've done it, smaller market teams, how we've done it. And I think more teams will try to, make this a blueprint. And, it's not for everybody. This was the best course for us, and it's allowed us to get here. But once again, we still have a lot of things that we need to accomplish in order for us to become world champions. And we know tomorrow night is going to be a hell of a challenge.
Next row back.
Hi, Michael Malone, Christian Palotie, Sanoma Media Finland. Kind of a coaching clinic question, but there's this school of thought in Finland at least that successful defense is built around trust and courage. You got to be, to be courageous, you got to have trust in your teammates that they'll have your back. And to build trust, you got to have commitment defensively. When you started building this team's defensive identity early on in the season, which did you feed on to first, or do you believe in this type of thought?
I do, but the one word that I think isn't in your Finnish identity maybe that we really, really put a huge level of importance on is communication. And if you just look in our series, I mean, we lost game 2 at home, and we gave up 17 threes that night. And I felt our level of communication was not anywhere where it needed to be. You think about game 1, they made 13. I think game 3, they made 11. Game 4, they made 8 threes. So, yes, you have to trust. That's a big part of our culture. Being courageous is always something that's going to put yourself in a position to be aggressive, and you have to have an aggressive mindset to be an effective defensive team. But if you don't have communication and discipline to go along with that, I think you're going to be missing some really key components. And that's allowed us, I mean, I think in the 3 wins that we've had against Miami, they're averaging 94 points. And their field goal percentage and three-point percentage are really, really low. So, and it's going to have to be even better tomorrow evening.
6th row back on the left.
Hey, Coach. Eddie Pels from AP. I know after Game 2 you were very straightforward about the effort issues and getting them in the moment. Now that we're a week later, 2 wins later, how do you feel about the team's response to that and what they're dealing with going in tomorrow with a chance to win it?
I would say regarding the team response, I thought it was outstanding. We went down to Miami, won 2 games on the road, and we did it by playing just great defense. So our guys really bought in and committed to not only playing harder for longer, but also just being a lot more connected and talking our defense and being disciplined. So it was 2 great examples in game 3 and 4. My biggest concern going into any closeout game is human nature and fighting against that. You're up 3-1, and most teams, when you're up 3-1, they come up for air, they relax, and they just kind of take it for granted that, we're going to win this. And the neat thing for us is that going back to the bubble, we've been down 3-1 before, and we've come back and won. And we know anything is possible. And that's why, like, my message to our team before we came down to the media in the open portion of practices was our approach has to be that we're down 3-1. They're desperate. We have to be more desperate. They're hungry. We have to be hungrier. And there is no celebrating after game 4. We have another game that we have to win. And the closeout game is always the hardest game ever. So I'm looking forward to seeing our approach. You know, we had it in Game 6 against Phoenix. We had it in Game 5 against Minnesota. We had it in Game 4 against the Lakers. And my hope is that tomorrow night, in front of just an unbelievable crowd, incredible environment, that our players understand the opportunity in front of them and take full advantage of it.
Jeff on the left.
Jeff Zilgate, USA Today. Michael, you answered a little bit of my question just there at the end, but what are all the things that have happened to the Denver Nuggets over this season and maybe a couple previous seasons that you can treat this just like a regular game, even though it's not with so much at stake?
Yeah, I mean, it's I really believe in staying in the moment, you know, and you know, once that jump ball goes off tomorrow night, you know, our players, every possession, every moment of that game can't be, we have to win this game. Like, we have to stay true to ourselves, trust what's gotten us to this point. And the message after Game 4 of Miami was, you know, everybody's yelling, you know, just one more win. And hey, let's just win the first quarter tomorrow night. You know, take it in small bites. Take it in small bites. And if you do that possession by possession, quarter by quarter, hopefully when 48 minutes are over, you've done what you needed to do. But this team has been through a lot. Last 2 years, no Jamal Murray. Last season, no Michael Porter. And to get back healthy, to add some key pieces, this is a team that's been tested before and I think is really built for this moment. And our guys are excited for that opportunity tomorrow.
We got last two on the right and over here, Joe.
Michael Shaney on Ford Sports. Do you feel like Nikola's selfless approach and how he really doesn't care about his stats and I guess how calm he is in these moments all the time, do you think that's trickled down to the rest of the roster over the years?
Yeah, I think, you know, 8 years with Nikola, and that was in our culture of being a work team, a selfless team, and a trust team. That was, you know, day one when I got here. And then slowly but surely, you know, culture is not a thing that you achieve and you cross it off your list. Culture is a thing that you have to work on each and every day. Or if not, that culture is going to go away. And it just so happens that the two-time MVP and a great player in Nikola has kind of embodies everything. And to your point, when you have a guy that's had the success that Nikola has had, being your hardest worker and being as selfless as he is and trusting as much as he does, well, that allows everybody else to kind of fall in line. And so it's a real luxury as a head coach to have a player that kind of embodies everything that we're trying to do on a daily basis.
Joe, here in the second row.
Joe Varden at The Athletic. Going back to the conference semifinals in the middle of it, you guys were tied at 2, and you've lost one game since. So I want you, if you would, to go back and remember what the stress level was like and the concern level at that time and how it compares to the moment that you're in now.
There was no stress level. I mean, in that series against Phoenix, you know, we won 2 games at home. They won 2 games at home. And it was, and we realized that we were playing against a team that most people had picked to come out of the Western Conference, understandably so, with the talent level that they had. So I can't say that we were stressed coming home into Game 5. We knew that we had a terrific home court advantage, and our fans would show up, and we would play a lot better. I think now when you go back to Phoenix for a Game 6 and a chance to close it out, I didn't envision us being up by 30 at halftime. You know what I mean? But it just kind of speaks to our guys understanding that in a closeout game, we did not rely upon having Game 7 in our pocket to come home and play again in front of our fans. We don't rely upon having 3 games to close out Miami. When you start relying upon things like that, you get yourself into trouble. So that's why I say tomorrow's game, we're down 3-1. This is a must-win for us. And hopefully, you know, if that's the mentality our guys can go out there and play with, we'll put ourselves in a great position.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, everybody.
first question on the fifth row there, black jacket. Thank you.
Nikola, how are you? Paulo Antunes, ESPN Brazil. After Game 4, we saw Coach Mike Malone go up in the stands, and he was kind of embracing your family and had kind of a moment there. I was wondering, when did you become like your family became like close to him in that aspect for him to go up right after a big win like that? And can you describe your personal relationship with your coach?
I mean, I always say he came visit me a couple times back home in Serbia, and he came visit me when I played for national team in Lithuania. Was it Lithuania? So yeah, he came around a couple times. So my whole family just get him to know him, and we got together. We did some couple fun things. So and for relationship for a whole 8 years, we grown so much. Not just on the course. So he's a good guy, and he always likes to visit me, and we always appreciate him.
How important has that been for your growth as a player within the Denver organization?
I really don't know. Probably it's good. I think it's good when you have a good relationship with the coach. So I think it was good.
Next question over here on the left.
Aleksandar Žigić, RTS Television Serbia. It's going to be a very exciting night in Serbia. Monday night, a couple questions again in Serbian. Nikola, prvo kažem si gledao možda da si vidio Novak Jokić pobedio,
Yes,
drugo,
svaka čast.
kako se spremate sada, znači psihički, fizički za ovako važnu utakmicu, da li smatrate posebno važnom? I treće, šta za tebe znači podrška familije, kontakt sa familijom i prijateljima?
Da, eto, pobedio koji je ovo već put, Bog te vidio, ne znam, 23. put, dosta više, šalim se. Stvarno čovjek koji je, mislim, ne postoje reči, svi su sve već rekli, ali majstor svog zanata i verovatno jedan od najboljih koji će igrati taj sport. Spremamo se za utakmicu isto kao što smo se spremali i naredne i prošlih 3-4 bez opuštenja. Stvarno fokus je dobar bio na treningu danas. Niko se nije opustio, svi su se zalagali, svi su bili u treningu, što mene lično raduje, zato što ako smo opušteni nećemo proći dobro. I da, normalno, familija je nešto što me prati kroz ceo život i znači veoma mnogo.
Next question on the right side, second row.
Nikola Jokić with Ford Sports. Coach was saying that communication is probably the biggest important key for a successful defense. I guess how have you seen that grow with this core unit over the years, and I guess how much pride do you take in being a communicator on defense?
I mean, I think it means a lot, especially in the playoffs. You can see the plays before, you can talk to it, know what is coming. Even the first game, from the first game, you can see how we are as a team better in communication and maybe reading the plays and knowing when to help, when not to help. I think we are growing even now in the finals. That every game we are better and better, and I think that's probably the first and the most important thing in defense.
Melissa?
Hey, Nikola. Melissa Rowland, Fox Sports. Coach was just talking about how you guys need to approach this as though it were a must-win and you were down 3-1. I'm curious how important the vets' voices are in the locker room right now with instilling that. Obviously, they know how rare these opportunities are. So guys like DJ, Jeff, Ish, how important have their voices been right now?
I know. It's not if we're gonna approach it as a must-win game, For I know it's a big opportunity, and I think everybody knows. And by the reflection of the practice today, how everybody was locked in, I think we're gonna be ready for tomorrow. And vets are there to do their job and to keep us not relaxed, keep us tight, and they're doing a really good job. And I think the vets are in this league are really important. For the Argentine, for the whatever team, you need to have a good vets.
Mike here in the second row.
Mike Singer, Denver Post. Nikola, Monte was there in Game 3. Gary was there in Game 4. I don't know if you got to see Gary at all, but what did it mean to you to have Monte there? I saw you guys celebrate and kind of hug it out after.
I play with Monte a long time. And then when Jamal get hurt, me and him get really good connection on the court, and I was always good with him off the court. He's a really even with my family, even he was always around, and he's a guy who I really like as a friend, and really funny guy. Really, you can talk to him about anything, and I like Monte.
Have any of your other former teammates reached out to you throughout this run, like texted you, called you, or anything, or no?
I saw Wilson. Not Wilson. Wilson texted me. Mike. I saw Mike in. I saw Mike in Miami. Jameer texted me. Couple. I think when we get in the finals, I think he texted us. Texted me. A bunch of guys, but those are the guys that I can remember. All my, Serbian comrades. I'm gonna say like that. They all reach out.
Back left.
Nikola, Pac-Ram, Associated Press. I guess with Toronto hiring Darko, I just want to know how well do you know him, and what does that say about the game? What's that say about the game?
Back left.
Sorry. What's that say about the game? Where the game's at when Toronto hires Darko?
Yes, I think I love it. He's a great guy, and I really appreciate him. And he's here for a long time. And I'm gonna say in 10 years, from the G League coach to the head coach in NBA, I think it's a lot of respect for him and for his work, and I think he deserves it. He been seeing a lot, he been through a lot, and I think he deserves it, and I think he's gonna do a great job there. Of what? Yeah. I mean, yes, he's a second coach, Serbian coach that I think. Coached NBA, being as an NBA head coach, and Igor was first. He was second. So I'm just, NBA is growing, and people and front office. I'm trying to see maybe some other guys are willing to step up, and they're gonna do a good job.
Last row, back left.
Hey, Nikola, Harrison Wind, DNVR. Guys like Felipe, guys like Sparky, who have been with you for most of your journey, what does it mean to you to get to this point, with a couple guys, and like there are more throughout the organization, but people who have been with you throughout most of your time in Denver?
Yeah. I mean, there is always, yes, Felipe, who has been with me since day one. Jason Miller, who is a trainer who was little with me through everything, every injury, every pain, so Sparky, Augie, who is working with me. I came to Serbia a bunch of times, so Sparky, who is always doing a background, and I'm just happy that I have the same guys around me the whole time, and I'm gonna do my best to keep them as much as possible around me, because I like to stick with my people who has been with me from the beginning.
In the center.
Hi, Nikola. Katia Storena, ESPN Deportes. Tomorrow at home, the championship on the line, possibly the most important moment in franchise history. What's the most challenging part, or what's going to be the most important part about dealing with those emotions during the game and that part of human nature of just being on that stage? And
I think it's not going to be emotions. It's going to be a job that we need to do be done. I think you're ready. We're going to be locked in and ready to go, and it's just going to be a game that we need to win.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Pleasure like always.
Chris, first question right here.
Yeah, Chris Thomas in Denver Gazette. Danilo Gallinari was saying the other day about how right after you suffered your injury, he reached out to you and offered words of advice because that was similar. What do you kind of remember from that? And who are some of the other people that, maybe other NBA players, what have you, that really provided support for you during your rehab?
For me, appreciate Gallo. For me, the first person that reached out was Clay in the room, in the X-ray room. That meant a lot to me. That helped me a lot. Understand that from the get-go is going to be a long journey, and just seeing his face in that moment, and you could tell he was still recovering from his injury. He was still hurt mentally. It just helped me a lot, get through knowing that I'm going to be in a dark time. It's not going to be some cakewalk. So Oladipo. Basically, a lot of guys did. It's hard for me to single out a few, but Gallo was one. All my old teammates. Yeah.
And then how do you look back on where you are now, 10 consistent games?
I'm just happy to be in this position, knowing that everything I did during rehab was solid. No.
Arash?
Hey, Jamal. Arash Madani, Sportsnet Toronto. I know over the years you've spoken about the influence of martial arts and Bruce Lee. To have that quote in your locker the other night, knowing is not enough, we must apply, willing is not enough, we must do. How has that helped you? What in the visualization you do, the martial arts that you practice, all of that, what impact has that had on you? What impact does it make on you?
I think it's realization. I think is one of the biggest things. Everybody talks about, don't want to miss an opportunity, or when you miss an opportunity, like, damn, that was a good opportunity for me to have. I just think, thinking about all the things that I've done growing up, all the things I've wanted to do growing up, to be here is one of them, and I don't want to miss the opportunity that I'm in. So just, like I said, knowing is not enough. It's good to know it and realize it, but you have to go out there and motivate yourself to do it. So for me, it's just keeping that mindset. But all the martial arts, not just basketball. All the martial arts stuff helps me with just life and navigate, that way.
Jeff, over on the side here.
Jeff Zilgett, USA Today. Jamal, after Game 4, you said that this team is ready to win a championship and has the tools to do so. What have been the things, both big and small, along the way that have led you to believe that, regardless of what happens tomorrow night?
It's long before we made it here that I thought this was going to happen. It's a belief of being in the playoffs before, having the experience, seeing the team and the chemistry grow, having the same core my whole career. That's when I saw it. That's when I believed it. And to be here just kind of rounds it out and shows that when we're given the right circumstances and everybody healthy, God willing, we can do it. I think when we're playing our best basketball, we're a very hard team to stop, and I just see us playing like that for the majority of the time, sticking together. Even when we go through rough stretches, we're still in a good place. So I've personally had that belief for a very long time. This is no new confidence for me.
Next row back, Dan.
Dan Devine, Yahoo Sports. Jamal, the three-point line has obviously been a pretty big bellwether in this series when they've been able to get a lot going. Yeah, right back here. Sorry, man.
Yeah.
When they've been able to get that going in Game 2, that went their way. Otherwise, you guys have done a really good job of limiting attempts. What goes into that challenge of limiting attempts for them, and how do you feel that you guys have done about that since Game 2?
Yeah, their shooters are moving on every drive. Duncan's flying off both ways off Bam. Strus he's not shooting well, but he's getting some good looks. So we can't keep giving them these shooters good looks. For us, as long as we know they're gonna make shots, but as long as we keep our discipline and don't give them the open stuff, I think we're in a good spot. We gave them a couple easy layups, easy dunks last game. We take those away. We take away a lot of life they have, and kind of just shut down their offense. We're staying home with shooters and allowing AG to play one-on-one with Jimmy a lot. Same thing with Yoke. So it feels like we're playing to take away the three, and they're still getting some good looks. So I think we're just keeping our awareness up on drives and those test situations, offensive rebounds, finding the shooters, getting back in transition. So just taking the easy ones away and making them have to, if they're going to hit shots, that's over a contested hand.
In the back center.
Right here, Jamal. Michael Pina, The Ringer. Obviously, Nikola is a two-time MVP. He's a runner-up for the award this season. But have you seen him play better ever than he is right now?
No. Maybe one day in practice. But no. He's very smart with his tactics, the way they front him or deny him. We don't really fight a lot of the pressure that we both get. And just seeing him make quick decisions, if the pass is open, there's no hesitation. Even if he turns it over sometimes, he's just taking what the defense is giving him. But some of the passes he makes and how quick he'll make them, I think that's what impresses me the most. There's no hesitation with that. Some guys don't hesitate with their jump shot. They just go right into a shot no matter what. He does the same thing with his passing, and it's hard to guard. Definitely with AG in the dunker, it's hard to guard him and have that guy step up and be in a tough spot. So Jokić just holding the ball for a half a second longer and figuring it out, and he's been doing that for so long on different levels. And, he won his first MVP, and then his numbers were better than the second MVP, and then his numbers are better during now. So yeah, I think there's more to come actually from Yoke. I think he can get a little bit. I think we haven't seen the side of Yoke that we're going to see, where he can be just pure dominance all the way the whole game, even more than he has been.
Alvaro standing on the left.
Alvaro Martin, NBA Latin America and NBA Mexico. There's a quality about this team right now in this series that when there's a problem, you fix it and you never go back and make that mistake again. Overhelping, the three-point shot, pick and roll, the zone, how to disarm the zone. There's an element that you see the problem early, fix it, and then you never go back and make that mistake again. Is that something that we're seeing in this series more often perhaps than usual? Is that something that's part of the DNA of the team?
Yeah, it's just it's like when you're trying to teach something and they keep making the same mistake over and over. How many times have we gone back and seen us not get back in transition? How many times not boxing out, ball watching, all that stuff? I think once we just be aware that we're doing that in the moment in the game, we have a quicker, even if it's half a second, we're just realizing a second quicker, and we're all making the right effort to make up for that mistake. So. And a lot of it is even if we do make a mistake, there's somebody behind it covering for you, So as all of us being on a string and all of us understanding what we're trying to accomplish, obviously they're manipulating stuff. They'll get a few here and there, but as long as we're on the same page, we'll be good for 48.
Last question on your right.
Hey, Jamal. When you go back and see all the journey that you have gone through with the team, what's the message for those people that have been waiting for this important moment, like the fans, the people that work inside the team? What's your message for them, like before the most important night of this franchise?
I don't know. I'd just say, patience is key. Nothing happens overnight. I think we've done a great job of, not just as a team, but as an organization, just sticking together, keeping each other up, motivating each other. We got Stan and Josh in the locker rooms, win or loss, which means a lot. Just seeing everybody's faces. I'll still get messages from Tim. I'll still get messages from Monte. So everybody's been part of the journey, understands what we're about, and it's just nice to see us be a big family and understand what it takes to win. And it's your fault. but yeah, it's been a journey, a lot of fun. We got more work to do. Yeah, man, it's your fault.
Thank you, Jamal.
Appreciate it. It's good. Yeah, thank you.
We'll start with Miami, about 1:15 in here.
Any vodka tonics today? Oh, really? What are they